Hello, everybody. If you're 45 or older, talk to your doctor, schedule a colonoscopy. Let me go on a little walk today. Thought I'd bring everybody with. We had probably the biggest deer in the area 3 nights ago. During the last part of the deer hunting season here, killed by a car in my neighbor's front yard. Unfortunately, I wasn't hunting after it, but we do have a friend of mine that hunts out back here. And I've been watching that deer for about 5 years. When I originally saw him, he was about 3 or 4 point. I say that because one of the forks just had this little nub on it. I know that because I had a video camera out, and I think it may have just been deleted recently, but he was on our deck behind our garage eating the squash that I had out there for him several nights. And then the following year, he was in the front yard eating pumpkins, and I got him on camera there. Last year, I saw his tracks in the front yard, and I've been seeing his tracks, but last year was the only thing I saw of him was his tracks. And then about I don't know, a month and a half, 2 months ago, I was coming out the front door of the house at like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I saw just the silhouette of the back side of his horns. He was leaving, going away from me at the time. He didn't seem too scared, But I saw the silhouette of the back of his horns in the light from the house that had come on. And I knew that was a beautiful deer. And now, 3 days ago, he was found in the neighbor's yard dead. Almost not a scratch on him or not a scratch on him, which is crazy. But oddly enough, I did hear one odd noise, and the direction that house is, our house kind of blocks what I was hearing, but I know I heard some kind of thud and a squeal in a way, but it really, it wasn't discernibly a squeal at the time. Anyways, I'm going to quiet down a little bit. We're getting to the woods. You'll see my buddy Stand out here in a minute. Not that anything out here wouldn't hear me coming, but you never know. Once you get out in the woods, it's a little easier walking. I won't make as much noise, so if I don't announce to them that I'm coming, you may see something. But after a deer hunting season, they're pretty skittish. Hope everybody's doing well. We're on a just over 10-acre plot of land here that is part of the Rice Creek Chain of Lakes watershed in Minnesota. So the water level tends to go up and down here. Now, I may have heard that they changed the agreement or whatever in this area. I don't know if they still do that or not, but it does tend to get wet and dry out here at times. He was out here about a week and a half ago, and when he was walking out here, he saw a deer right out here, and let a round off at it, but there's a lot of trees around here. I guess he smacked a tree instead. It was not the big one. It was I think he said it was a 4-pointer or a 6-pointer. Oh, hey, we got a big ass muskrat house over here. Haven't seen muskrats around here in a while. I'm glad to see that. They'll keep this cattails down here. I hope they move into the front pond. Our front pond is getting pretty overwhelmed with cattail. Now, I was talking to Anthony Lester today in a chat about ginseng, and I know we've got it in this area. He just showed me a picture of some. Now, I'm sure that I've seen it, and I've tried digging it up before, but there wasn't much of a root mass there, a root ball. There's his hunting shack. He didn't get much use out of it this year. He's having hip issues, so he's going to have some hip surgery and come back out here and get some of the offspring from that big buck, hopefully. I know there's a couple of spots out here that typically have some rubs or scrapes and stuff, so we'll head to those spots and see. But we're also going to be scanning the ground, and we'll go to one of those spots that I said I've seen. Would look to me to be ginseng leaves. Like over here, possibly. And those are similar, but not what I'm thinking. Okay. This one has 5 discernible leaves on it. I mean, that looks pretty much just like what he was showing. Now, I know more mature ones have different, like, nodes on them. But also, these seem like they creep across the ground in a way. So I don't know if that's the same thing or not. We'll go find a better example. I know there's got to be better examples out here. Now, there's some with 3 leaves and some with 5. Okay, here's the shooting lanes here. That looks good. Yeah, I had plenty of open area to shoot. Alright, now here's one of the rubs up here. Or scrapes, I guess. And usually right above my head there's a branch that sticks down from this tree. Every time they mess with this branch too. And that branch over there, you can see how it's busted off. And this one here, that one's busted off. So if it wasn't that big buck that got hit by a freaking car 3 nights ago, then we got another big buck out here. Because somebody's maintaining this rub. Now, usually in this area also, there'll be some activity on trees. Okay, so look at this. That's from this year. So I'm going to document everything I see out here. And if this continues to happen, then we'll know that there's another big one in the area. Which, really, you guys, I am not surprised. Very few people hunt this area nowadays. The older generation that did hunt it are gone now. There are still a couple holdouts in spots. But what I was getting to earlier, I'm not exactly sure how many acres is out here, because I like a mile over to this direction there are houses, but there's cattails between here and there, and then a creek. There's also a 40-acre landlocked that's privately owned out here that used to hunt. Here's some more of that, what I'm assuming is ginseng. Where'd it go? Saw from ways off. Like this here. Yeah, I got a little frost bit. That might be some bigger ones here. That only looks like it has 3 leaves though. We're getting into some heavy thicket here, but we're on a deer trail right now. There's a trail that goes in over through here. It's a little harder to see the trails right now because of the sheer amount of leaves on the ground, but there's some remnants from a deer. Alright, now right here is one of the main trails that goes through here. You can see where they step over that, root or whatever system. They walk right through here, down into there. They also skirt the outside of this brush over here. Now I've been on and off this property. This is my folks' property, and they obtained it in 1984. So we're, 40 years on this property. Oh, hey, we got it down. It's like, what do they call them, poplar? Snapped completely off right at the base almost, looks like. Oh no, it snapped off from way up there. I thought it was over here. We did have some nasty winds. Looks like 2 of them got snapped off. One took out the other one. Now, that was probably the 70-mile-an-hour winds I was talking about in one of my last videos. It may have not hit completely 70 here, but it was at least 60. And I wouldn't rule out 70. Oh, here's a branch got just busted off there for whatever reason. And my plants, they were a little disheveled, but they were not busted up. I found another rub on a tree here. They weren't busted up. I did more damage trying to straighten them out. Okay, that's just natural growth from the tree that I was thinking looked like a rub, but it wasn't. So, the moral of that story is I know the lay of the land out here. If there's a sinkhole, I know about it. That deer rub, they've been maintaining that one there for several years. What do we got here? We got a military strike. What are we, Ukraine? Is this Russia? This isn't Russia. Is this Russia? Anyways, I'm making a nice blind here for ducks. We're on the verge of a cattail. There's a low spot here that contains a little bit of water. We'll go over around this point here. I mean, the chances are we could walk through it right now at this point. Ouch! Ooh, watch out for that buckthorn. That shit's sharp. Oh, bastards. Oh. Option 1, skirt. Or go through here. Let me go through here. Either way is about the same. I'm sure the deer have a much easier time at this than I do, but like I said, we're looking for deer scrapes. You know, there's a possibility that we could have come across a shed as far as a deer shed, antler shed, but it would be one from prior years. It would not be one from this year. Like I said, I don't know of any hunters that are out here. The regular shotgun season is over in our area. The bow season is still going on. Ooh. That's some thick shit out here. Oh, this must be this is another shooting lane over here. Boy, he did a lot of work. That's cool. So hopefully he gets to use it next year. Like I said, he's having hip surgery. So let me tell you, this was a damn tree here, okay? I don't know how old it was, but it went from all the way over here to over here. And then split off into 3 or 4 different chunks. I cut it up several years ago and hauled it out here with my sled. Not snowmobile, but just a regular, like an ice fishing sled that you'd haul your friggin' fish house out to the ice with. And I hauled that whole tree out of this woods the same way we just came up here. Now, that was before we had a hunter out here that had a 4-wheeler to cut a trail. So I was cutting a trail through that cattail shit with loads of wood for several years. Jeez, man, he worked his ass off. Good grief. More power to him. He is a hard-working son of a bitch. He deserves to get, man, he deserved that fucking buck, dude, is what he deserved. Now, We're going to work on finding him another one of his offspring. I want him to have a trophy. And it's not like it's not a farm out here. Nobody's freaking coercing these things. Back in the day, there was enough corn stands out here. People had field corn growing in plots out here all over the place. Not for the deer, but for agricultural, purposes, for seed and for grain, feed and stuff like that. And then it started to get developed because it's industrial and commercial area, and the areas around this at least. And now those deer are fewer and farther between. Back in the day, it was like there was a deer farm in our backyard, because we'd have deer fighting each other over our pumpkins, 4, 5, 6 bucks at a time, and big ones. They weren't these small ones. They're 6-pointers and up. All in our backyard with those. It was amazing. We've still got that on VHS. One of these days we may get those out and have them refit. But here is what a ash tree looks like after several years of the ash borer taking its effect on them. That's what they'll do. Those damn grubs will get underneath the bark here, and kill that layer between the outer bark and the inner bark. And over the next 10 years, that tree will die. And here's the evidence that we'll be looking at this tree at our backyard in the next year or so. Check that out. Poor tree. Anyways, that'll be some video evidence for the folks to be like, hey, we got to get rid of this tree before it falls down. Like that one there. That one there. Way off in yonder over there. Let's see if we can get this to zoom. Right there. See those lateral branches or lateral trees? Oh, there's another rub. Couple of them. Three trees right in this one area. And then the surrounding ones are busted up a little too. So that rub there, look at here, whoop, that's my old deer stand. You can see it there, yeah. Whoa, just fell in the hole we excavated not last year, when I was a kid. There's a freaking rock out here. This stuff went through the glaciers, and 10,000 or 6,000 years of, oh, this is a nice trail here. 6,000 or 10,000 years of, sediment coming in here, and all of a sudden there's just out in the middle of nowhere a goddamn rock, much larger than a bowling ball or a basketball, sticking out of the ground like 4 inches here. Makes no sense to me. Somebody would have had to, as far as I know, carry that there. Look at all these trees down. That wind tore shit up out here. Alright. Let's see. We got a good trail going over here to the left, and we got a good trail going over here to the right. And then we're out, almost out to the high voltage power lines that distinguish our back of our property here. That's not to say that there ain't plenty other property to freaking explore out here for sure. I don't know if I came up with a number, but it's in the hundreds of acres. Probably 700-800 acres or more. There's a nice deer trail through there. Nice trail here. There's another intersecting trail coming up here. So we got that trail there. A little trail here. This trail. And then, if I want to, I can hit this state snowmobile trail. Oh, here's another rub here. They're distinct. That wasn't done by somebody driving back and forth out here. That was from a deer. That's our state trail. So all I got to do is hop on a snowmobile, hit this trail, and I can go as far north as I want, far south, east, west. Within just a mile or two of where I'm at, I can head any direction on a snowmobile trail. So it's pretty cool. And this is groomed too. The groomer does go through here on a regular basis. That's nice. If I want to get off and get crazy, you know, I got plenty of area to do that too. But I mean, it's farther than I'm going to walk today that direction. Farther than I'm going to walk today in this direction. Farther than I'm going to walk today in that direction. And you know how long it just took me to get to this point. We are marking 28 minutes of walking since I left the mowed part of my backyard. That looks like another rub over there. Yep, right on the trail. That may have been the one we just crossed. Oh no, that one's over there. Yes, that's a different one. Sheesh. Time to go find somewhere to sit. We've got freaking these big ass ant mounds out here too that we used to have in our backyard till I dug them up and got rid of them. It's good mushroom territory too at times. But at those times, it's usually pretty wet to get out here. Not that it deters me too much, but you got the mosquitoes, you got hunters that preparing to hunt out here. I don't want to scare any of their stuff off, you know. Very nice big trail through here.